It is a story that is enough to terrify any parent. You've got two young boys away from home at a sleepover. This is in the small Canadian town of Campbellton in New Brunswick.
This could terrify anybody. I mean, both of these young boys were killed in their sleep, and the killer, this is a 100-pound python, escaped its cage. It was in a zoo, well, not a zoo, but a pet store right below. It happened less than 100 miles from the U.S. border. Could have happened right here, though. People keep these things. Absolutely.
We've got Jack Hanna on the line, Director Emeritus of the Columbus Zoo, and, of course, well-known host of Jack Hanna's Into the Wild. Jack, let's start off with what might have happened here. You know, that snake had to get from the store downstairs, upstairs, into a bedroom, apparently through the ventilation. How uncommon must that have been?
Well, it's obviously uncommon, but pythons can do just, snakes in general, when it comes to just being out there, can do just about anything. That didn't surprise me that a snake could get out of something down there underneath there, and only one man ever held a snake. So obviously it was in a pretty wild state, but he knew the guy, but actually knew the guy. He only wanted to handle him. So the snake got loose, and these snakes can find their way out of anything, basically. Went up through the ceiling, maybe a hole in the air conditioning vent, I don't know, or somewhere like that, and then just popped out, and as it was slithering down maybe the ceilings, it was one of those soft ceilings, from what it sounds like, this little report I've read, that weight just fell through on top of them. But what's confusing here is when one of these snakes, by the way, a python of that size, does make that first initial grab, let's put it that way, because I don't want to get into detail here. When it gets in that grab, it immediately circles its prey. Do you follow me? Whether it grabs the leg, the back, whatever it might be, part of the body. It'll grab first and then circle around that, into whatever that is, animal or person. And every time you breathe, take a little breath right now. Take just a teeny little breath. I mean, a millisecond breath. Take that, and that snake's body will constrict immediately. So let's say you stop. All of a sudden you breathe again just a little bit. In other words, he continues to do that very, very quickly, quicker than a blink of an eye. He can squeeze his body, and that's how the animal usually, whatever that is, succumbs to what happened to these boys. But what's confusing, if he fell, number one, why didn't he wake up? Number two, if he had one, what happened to the other one? Because the snake very rarely, it takes a while for the animal to let go, release that one person, I guess, and go after the other one, unless both got at one time and he wrapped his body around both of them, which to me is almost inconceivable.
And Jack, explain this to us. Why would it be that somebody would have this kind of a large snake, even if it's in a pet shop, they were going to sell it to somebody? I mean, that seems really unbelievable to a lot of us, that this kind of snake would be something that someone would own.
Yeah, here's the thing. I don't know myself if it was for sale. Some pet shops, some people that have these reptiles have them there to either breed or have them there for show and don't sell them. I don't know. I couldn't say if he was or wasn't selling the animal. The thing is, people are fascinated by snakes. That's number one. Number two, snakes do have a bad rap. Snakes are a living creature like any other animal. However, let me repeat, a lot of people that get snakes for the youngsters are little ones, 3- and 4-foot pythons. And by the way, in the state of Ohio, we have pretty strict rules, the real strict rules, if you have a python. Other reptiles, they're much different, don't grow as big, that's different. But, when a snake gets this size, it's just become, as you well know, that people get tired of it. Maybe it gets older, it gets bigger. And as that happens, what happens to you? Think like in Florida, these warmer snakes or states, they put the snake out there. Oh, this little snake will be okay. Well, look at the Everglades right now. They're consumed. It could be 10,000 to 100,000. They don't even know how many are in the Everglades. It's not a matter that they're going to go out and get people, by the way. Yes, this was an incredible incident up there. But I'm just saying the Everglades situation, it's the ecosystem, the environment, these snakes could wreck. So obviously there's going to be, there already is. Ohio, because of a terrible thing that happened 2 years ago that I was involved with, passed some very stringent laws that were fair to everybody, especially the safety of mankind in Ohio. But obviously what's going to happen as a result of this in Canada maybe is that, they might not be able to get the rock pythons. Maybe some snakes can be bought, but snakes can get to be, like the anaconda, you're talking these snakes can get to be 30 feet plus when they're full grown. And that's anybody can go down.
All right, Jack Hanna, thank you so much. And Michael, there's still so many unanswered questions about this because he's absolutely right. How did it happen?
And then two kids. That's the other thing. That must be unusual. What a horrible story.